So you are a respondent in 3 cases pending before the Ombudsman, Katayong versus Rex Gatchalian, alleging that you unlawfully interfered in the affairs of a co-op, forcibly called for the conduct of a General Assembly and elections to replace the complainant, and that you ordered the members not to pay their dues.
In the Aquino administration, they came up with a housing program called wherein they enlisted co-ops, housing co-ops, to develop housing communities. So most of these housing communities, as we know, kapag inalis natin ng gobyerno, may mga nagiging sariling mga hari at mga reyna sa loob. So what happened there was, one of the housing committee happened to be in Valenzuela. For the longest time, we were not touching them, but it came to a point na nagkaroon na ng mga bullies or thugs sa loob ng co-op. And part of the public safety and general welfare na trabaho na mayor was for us to look into it. But let me just qualify the accusation. I did not intervene in the co-op. I did not forcibly ask for the General Assembly to take place. But rather, we signed a memorandum of agreement kasi at that time, the loan was with socialized housing. And si Shapsi was already complaining after the Aquino administration that these housing co-ops that they created, pare-pare sa nangyari everywhere. There's one in Pasig, there's one in Valenzuela na it got out of hand. Yung co-op naging hari na sila, naging landlord na sila. So ang nangyari ho doon, they wanted us to do the estate management. So we signed a estate management agreement, which was their first actually between the city government of Valenzuela, socialized housing, CDA, and DILG, wherein the LGU was brought back into the picture as a council, may HOA representation in that council to do the estate management, not to interfere with the co-op, but to make sure na may tubig, may kuryente, may drainage, it's safe. So we were just limited to estate management. So let me just put on record that DILG, CDA, the Co-op Development Authority, SHAPC were members of that estate management council that was created. It just so happened that I was the chairman, being the local chief executive. And also for the record, and I can be fact-checked on this, they copied the same template to solve their other housing co-op problems. Kasi I always believe that managing a housing estate as big as what they did, they are housing 2,000 units na vertical, will always require local government interference in the estate management. Not in the co-op running, but in the estate management. Ms. Katayong was probably trying to allude that the council was interfering in the co-op management, but quite the contrary. We were estate managing, and even up to this day, that estate management agreement and that council is running, and we've successfully energized the community. May tubig na rin ho sila, and the thugs are gone.
Tapos na yung kaso?
Ma'am, it's still in that fact-finding stage. It never moved. This happened when I was a second-term mayor, if I'm not mistaken. Hindi pa ho siya kaso, but rather it was a complaint that never moved.